Hello and welcome to a Week 6 edition of the EstablishTheRun.com NFL Betting Show. My name is Adam Levitan, as always, joined by Evan Silva, and today we are back for more fun. As you guys know, we dabble in sports betting. We don't do it seriously. We are fantasy players. That's what we do. That's what we love. That's where we win. That's what we've been doing for the last 15 years. That said, we know you guys want to hear us talk about sides and totals. There's been an overwhelming amount of requests for it. So here we are. I do want to be very clear that if I am personally betting any of this stuff, it's honestly just for fun. And really, it's just to throw books off the scent as we attempt to ravage them in props. In other words, maybe our accounts won't get shut down if we give them some action on sides and totals. Anyways, Evan, how's it going?
It's going all right. Let's have a big week.
Before we get into the show, I want to let everyone know about a new promo we have. So over the last few years, we've had a lot of people say, hey, they love us, they love ETR, they want to subscribe, but the price is not something they can handle. We worked out a deal with BetMGM to help. If you sign up for a new BetMGM account with our promo code, simply make a first deposit and place a bet. They'll send you a free month at ETR. That's a $65 value on top of the sign-up bonus you get with MGM, which is up to a $1,000 free bet. If you're already an ETR sub, you can still get in on this promo. They'll send you the same coupon and you can use it for future purposes. Check out the show notes for the link and more info. Other thing I wanted to mention is that if you're into props, like I mentioned before, NBA Props Sub is live on the subscribe page. NBA only. We're going to have a team working overnight to get ready for when props open very early on the following day. We expect them to be opening. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to bet some NBA props. Check that out on the NBA page if you're interested. All right. Let's get into it. Evan, last week was a bit of a disaster. Only thing we did hit was the Steelers -1 over the Broncos, but this is indeed a forward-thinking show. What do you have for the people in week 6?
All right, let's start it off. Cleveland -3 against Arizona. The Cardinals are going to be without Chandler Jones and Rodney Hudson. So, I mean, that's a big loss on the offensive line, a huge loss on the defensive line, facing a Browns team that has struggled in protection on the perimeter at offensive tackle so far. I think that this is a spot where the Browns running game goes off again. You can run on Arizona. And I also think it's just in general a bounce back spot. The Browns going back home, they're going to get this win and hopefully cover the 3. I'd love it at -2.5, but I think it's 3 everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Best line you can get right now is 3 -115.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I'll say this about the Cardinals, man. Like, they have impressed me to be 5-0. It wouldn't surprise me if they end up with only like 10 or 11 wins on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, they're not really a true Super Bowl contender. And I think the Browns actually are a true Super Bowl contender if Baker can play better. And so, yeah, I mean, I think
I think his chances of playing better are improved by no Chandler Jones.
Yep. Yeah. Agreed. Okay. My first pick. I must be missing something here, Evan. Maybe you can tell me what I'm missing. I am shocked and appalled that my Panthers are a home dog to the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, who are the Vikings to be a favorite on the road against anyone, let alone my Panthers? I mean, I understand the Panthers played poorly last week. I understand that they would have won the game if they didn't get a punt blocked with like 5 minutes left. They would have won that game against the Eagles. But man, this is a slap in the face to Matt Rule, to the Panthers, to a rejuvenated Sam Darnold. I know he played bad last week. I get it. He still has Christian McCaffrey coming back, I think. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, Joe Brady. I mean, I'm just shocked. And I must be missing something because I have a ton of respect for the NFL market. I think for the most part, these lines are very, very, very efficient. Almost all of them are extremely perfectly efficient. Why, Evan, are the Cardinals a 2-point dog to the Vikings at home? I mean, the Panthers.
Yeah, I don't know. I do see these teams as fairly evenly matched.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
but then the Panthers should be -3.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I think you hit it. I think it's a good pick.
I don't know. I must be missing something. There's something is amiss. But anyways, go ahead, Evan, with your second pick.
All right. Chiefs football team over 54.5. I think that this is an explosion spot for Patrick Mahomes. If you go back and look at the last 4 quarterbacks that the Washington football team has faced, they're a slump. They're not just a bad defense; they're a slump busting defense. Each of those 4 guys entered the game not playing previous well. Guys like Matt Ryan, Josh Allen was struggling relatively before facing the Washington football team. Jameis Winston, and then all of a sudden they smashed against the Washington football team, and just so many coverage busts in the back end. And I think this is a get right spot for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 2-3 right now. It's kind of the talk of the league that they're not very good. Their defense is horrible, which is why I think that Washington can potentially hold up its end of the bargain. I don't know who's going to cover Terry McLaurin. Ricky Seals-Jones, I think, is going to be a real popular. There's only $3K on DraftKings. He's probably going to be super popular. Played 82 of 83 snaps last week. Heineke can play with his hair on the fire. This is the sort of game where we could get, I think, a backdoor over, because Heineke's he's gonna go down fighting. I'm a little bit worried about the injuries to not CEH, but Kelsey and Hill.
Yeah,
kind of came out of this last game banged up, and that is a little bit concerning. But it seems like they're going to be okay. And again, this has been a get right spot for the last 4 offenses that the Washington football team faced, and I think we're going to see that again here. I like taking Patrick Mahomes right now, 18-1 to win MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And look, I mean, Tyreek Hill missed back-to-back practices with this quad issue. That scares me a little bit. They do have a little bit of redundancy on Tyreek Hill. I think Mecole Hardman has struggled not playing the Tyreek Hill role. If he's in the Tyreek Hill role, I think he's okay. But yeah, I do think Tyreek's going to end up playing. And yeah, to Evan's point, I mean, my God, this Washington football team pass defense, you could argue, has been the worst in the NFL. And it's just so bad off of what our expectations was for this defense, highly motivated Chiefs team to come in and get right in this game, as Evan said. And so I thought about laying the 6.5 as one of my plays on the Chiefs here, but I couldn't go against my priors in the football team. I also was worried that Tyreek and Kelsey might not be completely right.
Yeah, the football team defense also is like a major pass funnel as well.
Yep.
They actually have played fine run defense, but they've been just getting destroyed on the back end. Love to see that going up against Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll talk more about that on Friday, because I my first thought was like, man, I can't wait to play Patrick Mahomes this week on DraftKings. He's 900 more than Lamar Jackson. And so there's obviously a big price gap there, and Lamar is playing a hell of a game on Monday. That brings me to my next pick, though. My next pick is going to be the Chargers, actually, +3 at Baltimore. I think it's a pretty tough spot to ask the Ravens off that wild overtime game on Monday night to come back on a short week and face this really, really good Chargers team. There's some 2.5s out there. You can't get a 3 -118 on FanDuel right now on the Chargers. But yeah, I mean, my pick for NFL Coach of the Year right now, Brandon Staley, going in to Baltimore. Lamar's been carrying this team on his back. I don't like it's sustainable, but I don't know how sustainable it is like every single week to the point where they should be a 3-point favorite over this really, really good Chargers team. I just think the Chargers are better, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a tough spot on a short week for the Ravens. And so that's all for me on that one. Anything on that? Or if not, go ahead to your third pick.
Yeah, Charger, it's right on DK right now. Charger +2.5, -105. I'm with you that the Chargers are just a better team. That Chargers, I mean, and they start to lose some offensive linemen. Ode Abushi, who Brandon Thorne, our offensive line expert, talked up before the season, is he was kind of the, theoretically the fifth man, the weak link on the offensive line. But Brandon Thorne was talking up. He's out for the year. Mm-hmm. And then Brian Bulaga, their right tackle. So now their entire right side, their right guard and their right tackle, Brian Bulaga, underwent surgery, and he's like out indefinitely, maybe till the very end of the season. So health is going to be the determining factor. But I think that right now, still on paper, the Chargers are like a top 5 team.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of a game plan Brandon Staley comes up with against Lamar, because Lamar has gotten criticized for years for struggling as a passer or being running back, the stupidest fucking Stupidest fucking meme I've ever seen in my life. But this year he's killed. He hasn't even been that great as a runner. He's been fine, but he has been crushing it as a passer. 9.1 yards per pass attempt. So it's going to be really. It's a really interesting real life game.
Yeah. And I think limited snaps for Rashad Bateman in this game is what I'm expecting at least. And I think that, helps their pass game a little bit. I mean, you can't put Duvernay and Sammy Watkins and Proshi and whoever else these guys out there. I think Bateman would be an upgrade there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go ahead with your last pick, Evan.
All right. I kind of struggle with this one. I thought about betting on the Jaguars, but I mean, that has not gone well. That just has not gone well. I'm going to go with the Bills to cover 5.5 on Monday night at Tennessee. The Bills are a legit top 5 team, maybe a top 3 team, maybe a top 1 team. And the Titans aren't good. They are not good. I think this is a game where if the Bills are able to jump out to a lead, they can sort of minimize the damage that the big dog can do. A.J. Brown, not sure if he's back to 100% yet. He's going to have Tre'Davious White all over him anyway. It looks like Julio could get back. He practiced on Wednesday ahead of a Monday night game. That's a good sign for him. So I'm trying to play some devil's advocate here, but just the defense for Tennessee, it's like a hot knife through butter. And I think the Bills are going to be able to get it done. 5.5's a lot on the road, but the effect of the home road hasn't been that drastic this year. So I'm going to go with a square side, but nevertheless a side that I feel comfortable betting, and that's what it's all about. You got to get in your comfort zone. Start peeling off W's.
Well, Evan, for the first time in the history of this show, which of course is only about 3 or 4 weeks old, but for the first time in the history of this show, we will be going head to head because my play is the Tennessee Titans, and I'll be taking the +6 here, which you can get in what book is that? Over on FanDuel. We can grab a +6. I'll still give you the 5.5 here. I think Buffalo is maybe my favorite team in the league, maybe the best team in the league. I think when you're coming off of a Kansas City game in primetime, you're asked to get up for another primetime game. These home dogs and island games, man, it's like my favorite thing to bet. And I think this line could get inflated even more as we get closer to kickoff. I bet you could find a 6.5 or maybe even a 7 by the time kickoff comes for sure. And that would really encourage me on the Titans. You mentioned the Julio thing. I think that's big for them. And yeah, I mean, Titans offense, the pass game can play better, period. Like much, much, much better. The defense, I don't know how they're going to stop Josh Allen, but in these island games, crazy things happen. And so this is just kind of a situational play for me. Obviously, I think that the Bills are far, far, far better, but we shall see. This is good, Evan. This guarantees that we at least book a win between one of us.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for this week 6 betting show. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. We'll be back on Friday night with Wiggins to talk about what we actually know about DFS on Friday night. For Evan, for producer Adam, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.